Willie Rennie.
I want to thank the First Minister for her statement and the advance notice of it, and reiterate my intention to continue to provide constructive support to make this work. The First Minister has announced the return to work for thousands of parents, but without explaining adequately who will look after their children. There is no school yet. Childminders are still limited and can be costly. Critical childcare is strictly limited too, and grandparents and friends are still largely off limits. I've asked this twice already this week, but it is still not clear. How will parents who are required to work get the childcare that they need?
First Minister.
Look, this is it's an important question, but I'm going to be really frank. There is no single, straightforward answer to any of these questions right now. And that's hard for me to say, and it is hard for people to hear. I recognise that. But you look at any other part of the UK right now, and there are no straightforward answers to these questions. We are still dealing with an unprecedented challenge. So we have to try to balance things as far as we can. So we are still saying to employers that they should be encouraging home working and supporting home working where possible. They should be flexible where there are childcare issues. We are increasing, and we will continue to try to increase as far as possible, access to critical childcare beyond what has been available so far. The steps we've announced today, while it's not the principal motivation around extended households, I would hope we could expand that concept in the next couple of weeks perhaps, that makes more informal childcare possible. So none of this is straightforward. There is no magic solution to dealing with a situation in which, to save lives, we have had to close down big parts of our economy and society. And as we open them up again, we're having to do it carefully in a gradual way. And I recognise how difficult that is for people. But if I try to pretend there are easy solutions, or if I try to go too quickly in order to try to create solutions before it is safe to do so, then I risk taking the whole country backwards with the virus running out of control. And I've already quoted it, so I won't quote it again, but the comments from the WHO this morning are very sobering indeed. The quote actually ended with him saying he wanted to repeat himself, that the risk remains high across all member states. So unfortunately, that means continued caution, and for many people, I recognise that means continued inconvenience and disruption that we will do everything we can to mitigate in the weeks ahead.
Willie Rennie.
The First Minister knows I support this approach, but the problem is the First Minister is asking them to return to work. Their employers are expecting them back, and they can't afford to stay off work because the furlough is ending. The changes today on childcare are minor, and the Government does not plan to lift restrictions on childminder capacity until phase 3, which is at least 3 weeks away. Now, I do support caution, and I also support a joined-up approach, but I am afraid the route map and the guidance is not joined up. They are flawed. So how is the First Minister going to fix this?
First Minister.
Well, I don't know whether Willie Rennie is saying we shouldn't open up carefully parts of our economy, or whether he's saying we should put children into unsafe environments. But we are seeking to join it up. So we are taking a phased approach through phase 2. So we are not asking people to go back to work until a later part of the phase, when we hope we will be able to, for example, extend the extended household concept, and we will then be getting into the period where we're making decisions for phase 3, which will open, I hope, other possibilities around childminders and other early years settings. So, yes, I accept there is no perfect alignment with any of these things right now, but that comes from the uniqueness of the situation and the severity of the situation we're dealing with. What we are trying to do is to get these steps in as much alignment as possible, and we will continue to try to do that. And I would say again that the more we continue to suppress the virus now, the more we open the possibility of being able to go more quickly in future. So none of this, as I keep saying, is easy or straightforward for anybody out there across the country. And if people want to put forward alternative suggestions, I will always listen to those. But we are taking a considered, careful and planned way forward where different individuals, different interests, different businesses and organisations with the support of government all have to play our part in getting us through this. It is not easy, but there is really no alternative to taking this careful route that we are taking right now.
Thank you very much.